Thank you for tuning into the Disclosures with Peter the Insider and Jessica Arael Marrocco. Peter is the director of the 12th Division of the ACIO, Advanced or Alien Contact Intelligence Organization. Jessica is a galactic liaison and interdimensional seer. Together, they will discuss the most current updates from the ACIO, Council of Five, and other extraterrestrial sources. Make sure to post your questions and comments below. Disclosures, insider intel that keeps you updated with planetary changes.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us in Disclosures. We're going to be catching up with some of the different topics that have been happening. Peter has been away for a couple of weeks doing missions and work, and we're happy to have him back. So we're going to bring up some of the topics for today. Without further delay, here is Peter the Insider. Hello, Peter. How are you doing?
Hello. Considering all the weird circumstances, quite good. Thank you for asking. I want to say hello to you and to all of our regular, maybe not so regular listeners, and thank you for being here to give me another opportunity to be on your channel.
Okay, and thank you, Peter. We appreciate you being here. And we're going to be covering some of the incidences, and maybe we'll find some synchronicities and things that connect. But just recently, it wasn't long ago, I think it was yesterday, that this event happened. Someone tried to hijack a plane in LA, and the FBI was investigating it. One of the passengers, actually, it looked like he tied him up. Like he knew how to do that. No, I don't know where he got this. I don't know if I'm allowed to share this. I don't think there's any, maybe without sound. But you could see the guy was tying him up like he knew what to do. And so, I mean, this whole thing, do you happen to know anything about this? What's going on? The way...
Yes, technically there were a few key people of tech companies. You know, they have HQs in LA, maybe not so far from there. So that's it, pretty much. It was important flight. This is pretty much it. What I mean, technically we can talk deeper about tech details and all kind of that stuff, how it happened, and I don't want to say how it happened, but how he was almost successful, but why he wasn't in the end of the day, you know, who saved the day, if we want to call it that way, you know. But the fact is that there were there were key people for few tech companies. That's it.
And then they were going to take them, or crash the plane, or what?
No. Take them. I mean, take like a kidnap. Yes, kidnap them
those
and
people.
kidnap those people and torture. No. If they will torture them physically, that will be, let's say, easy way for them. They will torture them. Let's say they won't torture them mentally and cause mental breakdown and get important information out of them. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that's interesting. It's amazing that they're trying to, the tech industries and those that have the information for different things are becoming more valuable, right?
Yes, we need to say it. We need to name it loud. Say it loud. I don't want to, because technically we can, but I think it is or it will be not good idea to say loud, speak out, which kind of special force within US Army, special force unit, did this, but it was within US Army. Yeah, because they want to get this those pieces of intel, of information. They don't want to give them those information, so they didn't hesitate to use this kind of you know a very inappropriate way of getting info.
Okay.
This is it. This is it. I mean, we can talk about it in more details, but I don't know if it will be good idea, because it can create too much heat, and I don't know if we like too much heat in our channel. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's if it's one of their operations
Yes.
that they're doing, then it's better off that I think if the military's doing certain things,
Yes.
then it's better off, because some of the tech companies have gone overboard, and I will say in some ways I think that they're feeling like they're above the law in a lot of
Yes,
things they're
but
doing.
technically, do you know what I mean? There is this dilemma. Do you know what I mean? Like Sophia choose. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, but who is good and who is bad in this particular thing? Do you know what I mean? A tech company or companies, they are keeping those technologies and pieces of info because I don't want to say they believe, but they know that once they will go with this stuff publicly, army will just like that immediately misuse it, or army, they want this because they know that those tech companies got certain technology, but they don't have too much in-depth details, and they want complete let's say blueprints, or do you know what I mean, like code, I mean like programming stuff, like application software or something like that, or hardware or so, do you know what I mean? And they want to get it for all costs. So it's kind of, let's say, two-bladed sword. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's kind of, it hardly depends from point of view.
Right.
Who is good there here in this situation, and who is bad.
Yeah. So questionable activities from two different groups that you don't want to be in the crossfire.
Definitely. No, you are right. It's definitely like that. Definitely, yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
You definitely don't want to be, let's say, accidental, like witness in this. Like, what the heck is going on? And you are just guy or woman, man or woman, in wrong place and in wrong time. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of,
Yes,
yeah.
that makes sense. Okay, we're gonna
So
move on.
this is for this topic.
Yeah. Well, speaking of companies, I guess that the Bitcoin Ethereum spiraled down as Elon Musk posted a Bitcoin broken heart tweet. So he's kind of, here again, he knows what's going on, or he's involved in the decline here.
Yeah, but this is so crazy, because look at that. Yeah, we know that mining Bitcoin is creating. I don't want to say creating, is increasing. Do you know what I mean? Is increasing. We are calling it what? El Nino process. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like emissions. Yeah, we know it.
Yeah.
Global warming. But fact is that yes, it's true that Tesla cars, and I don't want to say only Tesla, but totally electric cars are emission free. But this is the stuff. Are they really emission free? Just because they didn't get any sort of pollution from their pipes, it doesn't mean that they are emission free. Because look at that. We need to have specific metals and another compounds we need to use to building the batteries, manufacturing batteries, and this mining process is extremely let's say environmentally unfriendly, yeah, poisonous not only to people but to plants, animals, practically all the environment. And then in the process afterwards, recycling normal, so like gas powered cars is much easier, and it is much less environmental damaging than uh, recycling full electric cars. And once again, not only Tesla, all kind of full
All of
electric
them.
cars.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the. So if we are if we are taking it or seeing at it from wider, let's say bigger picture, no, forget about that. Electric cars, full electric cars are much more, let's say, polluting cars. Just by the way, because you need this electricity those cars are using for driving need to be produced somehow. And technically, uh, only if we are talking, or if we will be talking about electricity, I'm calling it like green electricity. Do you know what I mean? Like wind or whatever, like water or maybe sun. I mean, sun produced electricity. This is it. Yeah. But how many percentage of electricity in our, let's say, lines, I mean cables, are produced like that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
That's the problem. And even the infrastructure, yeah, that means another cables, another those charging, I mean docking stations. Everything of this is extremely environmentally unfriendly. That's the stuff, I'm just saying. So it's not that easy, just not that, let's say, narrow to look at the whole stuff. And if we will say, okay, just screw it, if we want to call it that way, forget about that. But all the traffic on roads or railways, it is approximately like 2% of all the emissions produced by transport. It's crazy. Only 2%. It's nonsense to deal with electric power cars and to make someone as a hero. Do you know what I mean? It's pointless. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's nonsense. from my
Right.
point of view.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I'm
And
just saying. Sorry for that. Sorry for that. Go ahead.
yeah, just a side note. I was a friend of mine. She recently had a power outage. She lives in California near LA, and there was no explanation for the power outage. It affected like three areas, three towns, and it was completely, knocked out. They don't, suddenly out of nowhere, the Tesla batteries were available. It was almost like it was is sort of planned.
Yeah, somehow out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, it was like it was convenient. Well, hey, we have the solution to that problem. But they never said, it wasn't like there was a power line that was down or, there wasn't any type of storm or anything of that nature. And then suddenly, and this is, firsthand, a friend of mine, and we were trying to figure out what was going on, and she was working. And she said, I don't know, can you help? Help me figure out what's going on, because she had limited phone access. And I contacted another friend that lived in California in that area. And then she also was doing some research. None of us could find any reason why that power went down. But they did say that the Tesla technology was brought in and they were using the batteries. So
Yes,
it,
this is another problem. Look at that. For example, if we are talking about southern parts of US, especially California, right? Once we are talking about heats in summer, like 100 plus 100 Fahrenheit plus what is what, like 38 Celsius plus something like that, Celsius degrees plus, or something like that approximately. Correct me if I'm mistaken. And that's the stuff, like those power outages are regular. Sorry, they were regular as some sort of prevent,
preventative
like
of fire. Yeah, to
yeah,
prevent fires.
prevent of fire, but not only like that, but to not to knock the whole electricity network down, and try to look at it from bigger picture. How the heck will electric network behave once those people go back from work and everyone wants to charge her or his electric car? It will be like, what the heck, this infrastructure, those engineer nets, I mean, do you know what I'm talking about, like
Yeah.
electricity cords? We're like, what the heck, there should be everything technically, practically, like 80, maybe 90% of cables, wires in US should be replaced, or transformators or something like that. It will be crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Instead of gas, then all the vehicles. Imagine
But
all the
this is it.
vehicles. Yeah,
I'm
it'd
not
be
saying.
insane. Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
that would be insane. I mean, we couldn't carry the weight, the payload of that. It
Yep.
would just be overwhelming, and
Yep.
they would require then more of these batteries or some other types of systems that
I'm
was
I'm not
supplemented.
saying
Yeah,
I'm not saying that initial idea is bad. Definitely
right.
not. But they need to think it over. Think it through. It's not
Yes.
just like that. Do you know what I mean? There should be long-term planning. Do you know what I mean? It is not
Yes.
just that easy. Jeez.
Well, that this is the way that engineers did years ago. They had a system where they would plan things out, and now it feels like people are taking a shot at these things and they're amateurs, or they're just getting the technology. They're not really scientists or knowledgeable enough to manage the technology. So
Yes.
they're doing it
Yes.
halfway, and they're not doing it through a scientific process of what other problems could arise due to the new technology that's implemented. And if you don't assess that, you get in a lot of trouble, because, well, that's why these guys are really good at what they do. I mean, you have those that plan even roads, plan street signs, any like red lights or whatever, or highways. They observe highways. They understand what can create a huge problem and then how to eliminate that. But these new corporations, they're dabbling in things, and they're not implementing someone that's truly qualified to be able to assess everything and then see what else is necessary.
Yes, because technically they are, how can we say it, those let's say new created like huge wave, we are calling it like huge wave companies, built, or I mean technically created and built like tremendously fast in like last 15 or maybe 20 years. They are extremely narrow, like focused, as you said. It is not, but this is it. It's wide, super wide context. And other problems, they will rise, they will appear, exactly as you said. But those people, those from those companies, what? No, we are not responsible for that. Do you know what I mean? We are just bringing our product, and that's the problem. But they should be responsible for that. Jeez.
When I think it was around the year 2000 or so, I worked at the University of Massachusetts, UMass Lowell, and they had me in a startup incubator facility for startup internet companies.
Mm-hmm.
And I was managing the facility, and the people would come in and they would pitch their ideas to the angel investors and those that would come in and support whatever they were doing financially. And these are the questions that they would ask them. How is this going to work? And what happens if this problem arises? And I sat in some of these meetings, and I would see the types of questions, and I'm shocked that there are people in these upper levels that have huge amounts of funding, and it's almost as if they never went through that process, or they've completely disregarded it, and they don't care because they're making instant money off of a product without the long-term commitment to
process of how can I say it, the in-depth thinking, process of analysis. Yes, you are right.
Yeah, and so the not to mention, Peter, that even as a business person, there could have been additional products that could have come off of that original product.
Yep.
That they could also have sold, because they didn't want to look down the road and see what some of the challenges were. Then they could have also then created the product, what would have been to deal with whatever that problem was later. So then they make money off of both of them. This is what the Fords did, and
this is
Henry
weird.
Ford did that,
This is weird for me, because technically it can be very good investment and profit opportunity for them too. So for me it's weird. To be perfectly honest, it's weird.
It's weird. It's weird because the investors seem to just love giving them money without entrusting them. And if someone is failing in the process of selling electric cars but not looking down the road of what some of the possible problems are, why are we entrusting that same person with space travel, which is, I don't know, maybe 10, 100 times more complex?
Not 10, maybe 100, few hundreds, maybe 1,000 times.
1,000 times, right?
Yeah, you are right. Yeah.
But they're blindly trusting, giving them money, and nobody's challenging them or is saying, well, what happens if this occurs?
Yeah, so, you are right. You are right. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll move on.
No, I think. Do you know what? I will say you something. I will say you something that I am happy that we go kind of more in depth with this topic because it worth this time worth definitely. What do you think?
I think so. I don't think enough people talk about it. They see someone on television, they're assuming that they went through some very professional process to get where they're at, and it's not always the case. And this is our problem with television and assumption, is that we're assuming, we're not factoring in that people are networking with people whom they like or know, and they're overlooking a lot because of maybe personality or charisma, and
Yes.
or appearance or whatever it is, and they give them a pass.
Yes.
And
Yes.
this is, and I think a lot of the problem too is the people do notice a lot, but the general public doesn't have as much of a voice these days, and it seems to be ever decreasing because of the way social media communicates with the public, as if they're not allowed to speak about many different things that they don't want them to talk about.
Yeah, it's censorship. We need to call it. We need to name it in proper way. We need to
Yes.
call it loud. Speak about it loud. It's censorship. Period. End of story.
Yes,
If it is censorship, it is censorship. Period.
I agree.
No questions asked. From my point of view.
Yep. And so
Okay.
because of that they're the ones that see it. The average public says, well, why isn't this being talked about? And so that, they have these untouchables,
Yeah.
the media, the those are the
People or
corporations.
topics or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, people will still find a way to talk about it. I think they've gotten to a point where they realize that they're getting stripped of their right of opinion, and their voice is becoming in danger of being diminished or
Yep.
shut down. So
Yep.
that's why we do this. That's why, if we can be the cheerleader in the background to get you guys to not to have courage, and I'm not saying, go out and get arrested or anything, but be savvy about how you get information out, and make sure that you have your private groups or whatever and share information with them. Because if we don't, what happens, Peter, when people stop speaking? I'm sure some nations have been completely shut down, or so,
Yeah.
you've seen that, with the ACIO, probably some civilizations that were deeply hurt.
Yes, you are right.
Yeah.
I think we can move on to the next topic.
Okay. All right. Libyan fighters attacked by a potentially unaided drone. Okay, and I'm going to show, there's another article, it's the same type of thing. Drug cartels attack enemies and spread terror with weaponized drones in the US and Mexico. So there's two articles. There's Libya, the other one's in Mexico and the US. Both of them are using drones. Is this the new warfare?
Yeah. Technically, fact is that drones, respectively intelligent, I mean AI, will replace everything. I'm talking like AI jet fighters, AI like tanks, armed vehicles. So no drivers, no nothing. So let's say no nothing, no. And that's the problem from my point of view, because once there is a pilot in jet fighter, yeah, or bomber, or I don't know, like driver, or like gun operator in tank or armed vehicle. Do you know what is crazy? And I'm saying crazy. This is bad. I'm considering this as very dangerous. They are calling people as a risk factor. They are not talking about, for example, military, personnel. No, they are talking about people. Risk factor. We will remove risk factor as fast as possible. And I was like, first time I read about those stuff, it was quite technically. We met what, like 2015, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was later than that. It was like 2016.
2016. Yeah, sorry for that. And first time I read, I read about that invasion to, I don't want to say invasion, Iraqi freedom, because some people consider it as invasion and other people as operation, US operation. Don't disagree about that. Let's call it US operation in Iraq. It ended up in 2015, and it was like 1 or 2 years after that, like 2012, 2013. I was like, what the heck are they talking about? So let's say it was like 8 or 9 years ago, maybe 10 even. What the heck are they talking about? Risk factor. And once I didn't read only 1 or 2, but more and more, of course, secret like reports. And then I realized, what in the world is that? They are talking about people as about the risk factor? Do you know what I mean? Machines. Do you know what I mean? Like technology can make mistakes and make mistakes. Holy crap! This is
Right? Yeah, they could. This
machines
is the AI.
Machines can make mistakes.
Right, and that's like the robots pretty much taking over the world. I mean, that's if someone could, you have a bunch of these. It starts off simple like drones, and then you said like fighter planes, and someone taps into that control system, and before you know it, you're blowing things up everywhere, all sorts of innocent people, or creating serious damage.
Yeah, what I saw, they were AI jet fighters, US jet fighters, and I don't want to fool you guys, I mean fool you two and to all of our listeners. If it was in 2007 or 8 in Iraq, no pilots, and
Right.
it wasn't new, just by the way. They
All right.
started to make those experiments pretty much in all the operation of Iraq since since the start. So we are talking about the years 2003, in
Yep.
year about 2003, and like yes, 2003. So it those reports start to appear like 9 years after that. So it's in 2012. I mean, those reports about replacing risk factor, and they were talking about people as a risk factor, and I was like, what in the world is that? This is crazy. Risk factor.
Well, apparently the someone in the government or somehow these drug cartels got this technology, and now it's not even corporations, it's the drug cartels.
Give me a second.
Not a government.
Give me a second. Those mega corporations, they don't hesitate to sell those technologies to anyone. They just want to make money from it. No,
Right.
it's I mean, even it's bad, even to use those kind of stuff in military operations. But selling them to terrorists, to drug cartels, or whichever type of another cartels, no, those uh, corporations, they don't hesitate to do anything. They just want to make money from it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. For them, they have no, like, let's say, moral reasons or something like that. No, forget about that.
But each nation has, certain, they have to answer to somebody, in the world, whether it's the UN or whatever. But the drug cartels don't answer to anyone. They just, if they don't like someone, forget it. They just can do whatever they want to do. And
that's true.
Yeah.
True.
So it's dangerous when this kind of stuff is getting into the hands of people, and they're using the same type of method, so none of their men get hurt in the process. And there it is. He said the drones come legally from the U.S. through groups in Michoacan that support us and have legit money to buy the drones. The man said the cartel's Unidos deploys drones to keep watch over territory and attack the CJNG. And I mean, that could be anyone that's interfering with their operations, and they're selling selling drugs or whatever.
Yeah, but once again, technically, U.S. military, they've got so many types of weaponry equipment that is pretty much impossible to have solid centralized, let's say, system of how we can call it, like lists where should be certain amounts of which type of weapons or ammo or whatever. I mean, sorry, ammunition, for maybe people they are out of military, so we need to use full word, and that's it. And even if they will have something like that, yeah, fact is that there is no chance to have a personnel capacity to control it. No chance. No chance. It's crazy.
And they're running these things behind some kind of facility,
black
computers.
market and all kind of that stuff. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Here's another.
I think we can move to next topic, I think.
The next topic is microwave weapons that cause Havana syndrome exist in the USA, China, and Russia. And this was on June 4th, 2021. So the microwave weapons that could have caused this Havana syndrome. Here it is. Portable microwave weapons capable of causing the mysterious spate of Havana syndrome brain injuries in the U.S. diplomats and spies have been developed by several countries in recent years, according to leading American experts in the field. The U.S. company also made the prototype of such a weapon for the Marine Corps in 2004, kind of like what you just said, Peter, 2003,
2004, yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, the weapon, codenamed Medusa, was intended to be small enough to fit in a car, cause a temporary incapacitating effect, but with a low probability of fatality or permanent injury. There is no evidence that the research was taken beyond the prototype's phase, and the report on that stage has been removed from the U.S. Navy website. And we've talked about people feeling like they get hit by scalar, like they're.
But this is what I said for years ago.
Yes.
Years ago, and look at that. It's like 2 or 3 days old, whatever. I mean, we are making this pre-recorded show. What's in your? It's like June
June
5th.
5th,
Yeah, so
2021.
it's
I know
so
you're traveling, you're time traveling, so you get messed up.
yeah, so it's only this article is only 1 day old, and this is it. I talked about scalar weapons. Practically, I'm talking about it. Respectively, I was talking about them since pretty much since the very beginning. I am talking about my stuff publicly. Am I right?
Yeah, and people, the truther groups have talked about targeted individuals for many years,
Yep.
and so people didn't believe them. And you see there were those that were going to like come up with some kind of Tesla type of technology or something
Yeah.
that's free energy, and they suddenly die from some weird situation.
Unpredictable,
Yeah.
and this is it. Unpredictable accident circumstances.
Yes.
So they are calling it audio circumstances, and they be like, what's going on, like UAD. I'm unpredictable circumstances, crap.
There you go. And
Yeah, here we go.
so you're right, Peter. You've talked about these things well before these articles came out. I do suggest that people start listening to some of the older shows. You'll see that before a lot of people were talking about different things. Peter and I had discussed them on the show early on, back in 2016 or so, and we have everything archived. And I've had people contact me and said, I can't believe Peter was talking about this way back then. And I said, I know.
But this is it. We were.
Yeah. Here's something else we've sort of talked about is Earth's crystallized iron inner core could be lopsided. There's a lot of stuff going on inside the planet right now.
Yep.
And here's when moving vertically from pole to pole, you talked about a pole shift.
Yes.
Horizontally from the east to west.
But look at that. People will maybe like, nah, do you know what I mean? What is 3%? But look at that. Look at try to make, as I like to say, try to get it from bigger picture. Let's say pretty much on the equator, right? It is this is the best, how we can say it, the best parallel. At the speed of equator, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is rotating somehow. In some speed. So let's say somehow. But this is it. But on the both poles, 3%, it is rotating 3% faster, what is absolute nonsense. Because technically, once you have such a ball, as we can potentially say that Earth is ball, it is not ball. It has very specific. We have very specific name for this type of sphere. We have it's geoid, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's nonsense. On those like poles, it should be rotated very extremely slow, not 3% faster. It's nonsense. Do you know what? It's nonsense. Do you know what I mean? But this is what I was talking about. Pole shifting. Here we go. And this is it. This is not some sort of, how can we call it, untrusted website or whatever. It's science alert. Am I right?
Science alert.
Yep.
And it was in June 4th, 2021, talking about nature and what's going on.
But
this is a scientific, the study was published in Nature Geoscience. This is a science publication.
Yes, this is what I'm talking about. We are not having some sort of untrustworthy web links or whatever. Do you know what I mean? People can doubt about. This is it. This is serious. It's scientific study.
So what happens? I mean, do we then pull off of the magnetic field that is sort of holding us in place because of the wobble, or the
Technically, the south will interchange with North Pole, and this is the stuff. What will happen afterwards? Give me easy. Ask me easier question.
we don't know
No
because we've
God,
not hasn't has this happened before in
not in this
history?
reality. Not in this reality. No,
Okay,
and that's the problem. We have no goddamn clue.
what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Jeez.
There is only one thing we are sure about. It will be very, and I mean very bad.
Does it affect the weather?
Pretty much everything. It will
Everything.
affect pretty much everything in very negative way.
Yeah, because is it almost considered like an inversion?
Something like that.
Like we're upside down in a way? Is that?
Yes, because pretty much look at that. Birds. Everyone is wondering how the heck is possible that birds are, let's say, keeping direction that easy. No, they have, let's say, compass. Do you know what I'm talking about? In inner parts of their head, you know, in
Natural compass, yeah.
yeah, in their peckers.
Yeah.
Technically,
Their
it's
beaks. The
what?
beak. The beak.
The beak, yeah, in the
Yeah.
beak. Yeah, yeah. Technically, where beak is getting to the rest of the head. Is connected to the rest of the head. Yes, yes. And this is pretty much. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is it. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So, and if it affects them that way, and I'm sure all the other animals are
Most of
impacted.
them will be dead because
Yeah.
they will have no goddamn clue where to fly and how to fly. They will be dead
Well, it would
within
have to impact
within
all.
within few days. Within few days, when not few hours after this whole situation will occur.
Is the ACIO working on this on any level? They're trying, right? To
This stuff is, and that's the problem. We cannot do anything about that. We can maybe slow it down, and we can only happen that we can hold it till we will shift to another reality, respectively, another dimension. I mean, fifth dimension, respectively, fifth array density.
right, and that's what everyone's waiting for anyhow.
Yep.
And when do you have an idea when that's going to happen?
Yep.
Like
Next year,
next year?
2022. 20. Give me a second. December 22nd, 2020. 2022.
That's the is it
What?
the winter solstice.
That's pretty much 10 years after at the end of sixth sorry, of the end of fifth big solar cycle, and of the start of a big sixth solar cycle. But there are, let's say, two groups of people. Some of them believe that it will be 10 years after that, so 2022, or another group of people, they believe it should be 12 years after that, so it will be 2024. And I don't know.
So I guess we'll
cannot.
find out.
Yes, let's say it that way. Yes, we will find out. Yes,
because this is going to be a natural occurrence of the planet, unless you're a time traveler and you know for sure when it happens.
This is the problem. I am time traveler, not in one timeline. There are too many timelines, and we've got our reality and another reality when axis won Second World War, and there are from 80 to 120 different timelines from each reality. They are, let's say, merging together in a very weird way. And what will be the, how can I say it? What will be the final, conclusion? I have no goddamn clue.
How many timelines did you say there were?
From 80 to 120. So if we count them together, from 160 to 2000, this should be corrected, from 160 to 240. Because you need to, do you know what I mean? You need to double it, like 80 and from 80 to 120. So do you know what I'm talking about?
Because it's like an alternate is a part of it, so it makes it 2.
Yes, it makes it 2. Yes.
Yep.
It's a big mess.
Makes sense.
It's complicated. It's crazy.
And not only that, there's things that are still like they're not set in stone. Even though someone saw something in the future, it's not necessarily going to happen.
It necessarily, let's say it that way, it will not necessarily should be, or it will not necessarily be alternative for our timeline, respectively from timeline. It will be a result of merging those two realities, ours and theirs, and that's the problem.
Yes,
that's a big problem, at least from my point of view.
Yeah, which creates a conflict in accuracies of the outcome of a future event.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Which I knew. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next topic. Where are we? Yeah. All right, so this one right here, NASA to kick off squid uprising with the latest SpaceX payload to the ISS. The 22nd SpaceX cargo resupply mission is going to be delivered to the International Space Station this month. And among the materials for the various experiments NASA is working on, there will be 128 baby bobtail squids that are just the cutest little babies ever. I mean, just look at them. They're polka dots, big eyes, tiny little legs, blah, blah, blah. And so then they said, you thought this experiment would simply result in data on the development of animal tissues in space? Well, I got news for you, Buster. Sending cephalopods to space is basically fast-tracking our downfall as the dominant species on this planet. So people wonder, where did all these squids come from? And I thought,
isn't this crazy? Isn't this crazy?
Did we create these like ET things?
These
squids.
But look at that, cephalopods. And give me a second. Didn't you recognize it from very first MIB, Men in Black movie? Hey, he catched up cephalopoid by his own legs. It cannot do. It cannot be possible for just any single man. And this is it. They were talking about it like 24 years ago.
In
It's
Men in Black
crazy.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah, in very first Men in Black movie,
A lot of people
cephalopods.
didn't know what a cephalopod was. They thought it was some kind of foreign object.
Yeah, and this is it. Look at that. Look at that. Here we go. It's
And
crazy.
then they get the movie Arrival, so we create this creature
Crazy. Yes,
that's
this crazy
exposed
creature.
to probably AI and all sorts of stuff. It comes back then to haunt us, doesn't it? They're running spaceships.
Yep, you are right.
Have you had encounters with them, Peter? Because I've seen them.
Yeah, and they are crazy.
They are crazy, and they're nasty too. They kind of, well, I mean, think about they're sort of a predator species in the ocean, as it is.
Oh, very aggressive. Yeah.
Yeah, and then give them AI or another level of intelligence. So I don't know what they're thinking, and they're doing this stuff. I wish someone would just stop them. But anyhow,
Yeah.
here's the next. All right, this is your neck of the woods, Peter. I don't know if you want to talk about it. It's huge explosions rock Serbia munitions factory.
No, I don't want to talk about, because technically this is okay. This involved this. Okay, this is overwhelming me. This was a operation of multiple military intelligence services, multiple military sorry, I need to I need to say it once again. This was operation of multiple military intelligence services, and I don't know if it is good idea to talk about it, to talk deeply, more in depth about it, because it can create heat.
Okay.
I mean, technically, we can talk which kind of countries were involved, why why they were involved, and all kind of that stuff. But yeah, I don't know if we want to create heat, to bring heat to the channel. That's the question.
Okay.
You are the boss here. Technically, it's your channel, so
Yeah. I mean, I if it's something about the U.S. government, then it's more pressure than it is with something from another country that's across the ocean.
let's say, yeah, DOD and other organizations, let's say military, intelligent, services are involved. So I don't know if it's a good idea to talk about.
Okay. All right. So moving on to the next topic. How about this? I don't think we've talked about this. Environmentals are suing the Danish government over Copenhagen's green artificial island.
Go ahead, just.
The environmentalists in Denmark are taking their fight to the European Union to stop the construction of an artificial island in Copenhagen, which was greenlit by Danish lawmakers on Friday. Denmark's parliament voted in favor of building Lindenholm, a 20 billion Danish kroner artificial island in the capital's harbor, which will be the home of at least 35,000 people and connected to the city by an underwater tunnel and metro line. The approval of the artificial island has been criticized for not having investigated enough of the environmental consequences of its construction, among other issues. This is being framed as a green project that has nothing to do with the climate, the impact on the environment, or the climate change, which is what our complaint is about, he told the Euronews. The government have said that the artificial island, which will be 3 square kilometers in size will also function as a barrier against future flooding resulting from rising sea levels due to storm surges and climate change. A Linton home will provide effective storm surge protection for Copenhagen from the north and thus provide security for the city's citizens who are likely to experience more extreme weather in the coming decades, Denmark's Transport Minister Benny Engelbrecht said in a statement last year. Having consulted with the climate and environmental experts and lawyers, Sandby said that this organization is now in a position to file a lawsuit against the Danish government's decision to plow ahead with the project. What we've done is we've complained to the EU because there are EU regulations that are being overstepped or broken, he said. Do people, do they have a right to tell people, in their nation whether or not that they can use their lands or their waters to do something like this, or is this actually impacting other things?
Okay. So what do you want to hear? Merciful lie or ugly truth?
Well, let's hear the ugly truth, Peter. You know how I am.
First things first. The Green Island, it's the name, if they will realize this project, was made, of course, fakely made, but because of project, because of color, it will dominate. The whole real deal stuff is the whole island, pretty much the whole island, will be AI, completely AI. Everything, intelligent houses, intelligent, let's say, grass. I mean grass. Do you know what I mean? Grass yards, if we want to call it that way.
Yeah, artificial. Everything's artificial.
No. Grass will be normal. Grass. But for example, like there will be, those, how can I say it, pipelines for example, like, spreading the waters. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe heating or everything. But this is only the only stuff. There will be specific, they will call it, what's the code? What's the code name? FIA, that means free internet for everyone, and that means they will spread, and this is it. 5G will be the main frequency, but they will start to make something like it was, this Montauk project and other projects connect with Montauk, but they will do it they will make this experiment on people in Denmark, in Copenhagen.
Wow.
That's the right purpose. That's the initial purpose, and no one is know about that. No one.
No, I haven't heard anyone talking about this.
Of course. Hey, Jessica, please.
Yep.
Who the hell? And be honest with me. Who the hell will say true about something like that? And please be honest with me.
I think people don't even know about it. That's why, you're.
Yeah,
that's why you're the insider, Peter. You know what's going on in with the workings of these governments.
Because look at that. I don't want to fool you guys. It was like, if I am not mistaken, in the end of the May this year, it is a huge scandal, huge, that Danish government ordered spying on French, German, Benelux, that means, like Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg, Norway, and Sweden, about any single type of their activities with, military operations, but especially, officially non-existence and all kind of that stuff. So private stuff, secret, do you know what I'm talking about? And now, it was like 1 or 2 weeks or something like that, if I am not mistaken, once again. And they are like shocked. What's going on? We should be allies. All of us, we are in NATO. And do you know what was the answer from Danish Minister of, Secretary of Defense? Yeah, we are. But our own interests are higher than the mutual good of NATO.
Yeah.
This is crazy. How many countries I count? 6. Yeah.
They're spying on all 6 of those countries.
Yeah, France, as I said, France, Germany, Benelux. So they are. No, I'm mistaken. Benelux. That means 5. So 7. My bad. 7. And then Norway and Sweden. This is crazy.
Do you know that when I traveled through from the Netherlands to Denmark to Norway to Sweden and to Norway, but when we got to Denmark, I was shocked the border control there. I mean,
what do you mean by border control?
This is pre-pandemic. This is before the pandemic.
Okay.
The border control was very strict, and I mean, there's a few countries I'd say that were, very, very strict. And this was one of them. But when I got to Sweden, it wasn't any problem. When I got to Norway, it wasn't any problem. In the Netherlands, it wasn't any problem. But for some reason, Denmark seems to have like this, I don't know.
This is it. This is it. 7 countries. And they were saying like, okay, and what about us? Sorry, UK. Sorry, my bad. And they will say, they didn't say yes or no. I mean, Denmark. But do you know how was the answer? What was the answer? And do you have any problem with spying? This is crazy. This is ridiculous. So they spied, let's say, 7 or 8 countries. They should be their allies.
Do you think? Yeah, they're supposed to be their allies.
It's crazy.
So they're paranoid or something.
Yeah.
Because when I traveled through there, because I was with a friend from Europe, and they said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "We're sightseeing."
It was like, do you want to spy here? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I did. That's the feeling I got. It was kind of like they were very suspicious, and it was just a visit.
Yeah,
it was very weird.
I got you. I feel you. Yeah, I see it. Okay. This is it.
Yeah. Well.
And they said officially that they start to use it. Sorry, it started. They don't want to talk. They don't want to say how long ago, but they officially say in 2013, and they spoke out loudly which kind of software, which kind of technology, army technology, developed in US. And the American authorities, they swear to God they never ever sell or even borrow such a stuff to Denmark. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So, I mean, obviously there's someone that's like a double agent or doing something.
Like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But
this is it. And they, I mean, Danish, official authorities, they looked like, no, do you know what I mean? We need to say we made a mistake or something like that. We need to apologize. Do you know what I mean? No, they present it like they were proud what they were doing for all of those years. Jesus, man.
Yeah, well, they play off like they're Switzerland, like a neutral party.
But this is it.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
I did see some weird portals over there, Peter, in Denmark. That's bringing
I believe you.
stuff.
I believe you completely. Yep.
Yeah, I think that they're influenced by some other things too. So, and we do have listeners that are from there, by the way.
Okay. We need to go.
No, they're equally concerned. They know that there's some issues.
We need to go.
Here's the next one. Okay. Players have spent a total of 600 million hours in the game so far. That's almost 70,000 years. That's Cyberpunk 2077.
What in the world?
Just a little side note. Look at the egregor there, Peter. Right?
This is one big ass egregor. Jesus.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go into the next article.
Yeah.
All right, so here is happening news. This weird sphere levitates over the surface of Mars. This could be NASA's Holy Grail. So they're looking at this object. It seems to be a scientific discovery developed by a technologically advanced race seeking to convey a message around the cosmos. So here's this levitating ball, right?
Uh-huh.
All right, so here's the next topic. Bright fireball spotted over Brazil. So that was in May 27, 2021. Then there is fireball spotted over Maryland, May 25th. Then there is a bright meteor fireball over Scotland and Northern Ireland. And that is May 26th. And then there's one in Shanxi, China.
You know,
May
they
7th.
are observing us. They are observing us.
Look how many of them, Peter. And I think there was some from Morocco. Yeah, here's one over Morocco.
Once again, they are observing us, as I said.
Who is they?
You know. Betters, like better. If someone is good, and then is second stage, better. Do you know what I mean? Betters.
And this is another group, the betters.
Nope, not group. Race.
Race, betters.
Mm-hmm.
Where are they from, Peter?
Give me easier question. We don't know.
And when they're observing us, are they doing anything? I mean, have you dealt with them?
I mean, technically, yes, they are doing. They are observing, because once they will not do anything. They will be not here, and they will be not observing. Do you know what I mean?
What do they look like?
Technically, pretty much like us, but what is this like? Help me. Extremely pale. They have pale skin, but let's say more than pale, but less than vitiligo, right? Something like that. I mean, like a lighter than pale, regular pale, but slightly darker than vitiligo.
Are they skinny? It's sort of very thin.
No, not normal. Let's say skinny fit, if we want to call it that way.
Okay, because I had a dream of something that looked like that crawling over me while I was in bed, like going past me. You know what I mean?
Okay, I gotcha.
Do you think that was them?
Definitely, definitely.
All right, why? What are they doing? Because they almost look sickly, you know, compared to like a human skin color. Like their skin
As
tone
I
looks.
said, more brighter than pale, but slightly darker than vitiligo.
Yeah, and what were they doing in my bedroom?
They want to talk. That's it.
There was like a couple of them.
Yeah, they want to talk. It's easy.
What was the name of that other race that you mentioned earlier?
Emperors.
Emperors. And what do they look like?
They are tall, short. Let's say from 4 to 5 feet or something like that. And they are, like Mediterranean in Europe, if we want to call it that way, Mediterranean type, or in I don't know, US or North America, like Mexican Gulf. So kind of, do you know what I mean? Like dark. Do you know what I mean? Like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we can move to the next topic.
The next one. Okay, so yeah, I just want to show all of those different ones, and it made me think of this deep impact of you know, if we would actually have some like a comet or something hit the Earth. I didn't know if that's what they were trying to imply, that these were comets or meteors going by, and you're saying that they're spaceships. So let's see. Yep. So here's Deep Impact was a movie that I was looking at, and what was interesting about this movie is it was from like, I don't know what year, 1998. And so in the movie they talk about how everyone's going to go. It's all like biblical. Everyone goes underground, and they call that Noah's Ark. But not everyone can go. They have a lottery, and that they have a ship that is going to try to impact the meteor, and they call it the Messiah ship. So that's one movie that I was looking at. Also, there's Greenland. I know that came out in 2020, where they actually hit they hit, I think, Florida gets impacted, and many others, and then they go to Greenland, but only a handful of people can make it there. And then this new movie came out 2021, Don't Look Up, and it's also about a scenario that you know, something like this is going to happen, and people are going to have to be protected from something hitting the Earth. So, you know, we've talked about this before as part of one of the agendas, and I don't know, are these races, do you think, are involved in this, bringing in this agenda?
Not now.
Neither one of them. Okay, yeah. Good. All right, so the next topic. I think it's interesting, since there's a lot of docking and space travel and vehicles kind of going to space stations and so forth, that here is a topic that no one really thinks about. I mean, you can't just park anywhere, right?
Yes, you can, but there will be consequences. Let's call it that way.
Okay, so these are called the
Lagrangian points. Yeah.
Points, and why do they exist? The Lagrangian point are indeed points infinitesimal in size, where the gravitational forces from a planet in another body, generally the sun or the moon, exactly balance the centrifugal force. But as you guessed, surrounding each actual Lagrangian point is an extended zone where a spacecraft can conveniently park itself in an orbit that requires little fuel to maintain. When you hear about a spacecraft orbiting a certain Lagrangian point, it really means that the probe is traveling within or near one of these extended three-dimensional islands or orbits. The size of these islands varies. Each planet in the solar system has its own Lagrangian point, and the island's stability gets bigger, farther from the sun, and also for more massive planets. The one associated with Earth are roughly 500,000 miles or 800,000 kilometers wide, and the biggest zones, at least in the solar system, are Neptune's. They are about 2 billion miles, 3.2 billion kilometers across. Not just man-made spacecraft park themselves near Lagrangian point, sometimes asteroids do too. Jupiter's L4 and L5 Lagrangian points are full of these Trojan asteroids.
Yep, that's true.
So, yeah, I always wondered about that. How you have to know
technically
all these
they want to use them for pretty much, I don't want to say low, but no cost landing. Do you know what I mean? So technically the task, or let's say not task,
incentive.
Okay, I got it. Not task. Challenge will be to get in this spot. But once they will get there, bye bye. That will be it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
That will be it. That's it. Pretty much. And this is it. I just want to say, this is another trustworthy source. We are not talking about things like by conspiracy theory or something like that, or alternative media. This is another trustworthy website. It's astronomy.com. Am I right?
Right.
Yep. We can go to another.
We want something that's solid in content. Here's another article from astronomy.com. The fifth force. Is there another fundamental force of nature? Scientists in Hungary claim to have found a new particle that reveals a fifth force of nature. In recent years, a group of Hungarian researchers have made headlines with a bold claim. They say they've discovered a new particle dubbed X17 that requires the existence of a fifth force of nature. The researchers weren't looking for the new particle, though instead it popped up as an anomaly in their detector back in 2015. Remember, we were just talking about 2015, 2016.
Yes.
While they were searching for signs of dark matter. The oddity didn't draw much attention at first, but eventually the group of prominent particle physicist workers at the University of California, Irvine, took a closer look and suggested that the Hungarians had stumbled onto a new type of particle, one that implies an entirely new force of nature. Then in late 2019, the Hungarians find hit the mainstream, including the story of a featured prominent on CNN when the released new results suggested that their signal hadn't gone away. The anomaly persisted even after they changed the parameters of the experiment. They've now seen it pop up in the same way hundreds of times. So, do you want me to read further, Peter, or do you want to talk about this particle?
Yes, technically it's pretty easy, because technically we can talk about it for a very long time. But fact is that this is This is not bleed through. This is get through, because bleed through, it means like it will be, I don't know, like drop, for example, by certain, I don't know, like you have woman's dress or something like that, and like water will drop or something. No, this is breakthrough by cracks from another, or respectively within cracks from anher reality.
So it's more like a floodwaters rather than a leak.
Yeah, like flat waters. Yes, you are right.
Yeah. So and you that's part of the reason why you were gone for a couple weeks, and that's a topic we're gonna cover more.
Yes, no, not today, but in special show. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, special show talk about what you've been doing and what's happening to our reality right now.
Definitely, we need to talk about that. Yeah, you are right. Mm-hmm.
So we'll come back to that topic again. Here is a terrifying Wuhan road erupts after underground explosion in a nightmare video. And let's see if I can. Look at that.
Yep.
So I'm gonna enlarge this so people can really see it.
This is crazy.
That is crazy.
This is crazy. Directional explosion, just by the way.
Yeah, explain what that means, Peter.
Look at that. Give me a second. Look at that. Just go to the start of the video and we will see it. Go to the start, please, of the video.
Okay.
And look at that. Look at that. This is it, yeah. Like a fire of gun in the right part of the screen. Look at that.
Over here.
Yeah. Directional explosion. Yeah. This is it. Scalar weapons. Directional explosion. Technically, it's not true. Not explosion.
See that, Peter?
Yes, yeah. This is it. What I was talking about. Not explosion. Implosion. What is in implosion, and what's the main difference between explosion and implosion? Maybe most people will disagree. What's going on? It's nonsense. In explosion, implosion, it's the same. No, it is not. And I will say you why. Look at that. Look at that. What happened with the road? The road, let's say, collapsed. And many people, of course, it collapsed because it was down the road. But I will say, I mean, the explosion occurs down the road. I will say you what's going on. Implosion means that the space around implosion collapsed together, and then it initiated or it will initiate much bigger, much, let's say, much more effective explosion. What does it mean? Okay, I mean, what's the point of making implosion? Why is it so much better than explosion? Average implosion, once you have explosive compound, according which kind of system you will use and which kind of compound you will use, with implosion you can, the implosion can cause from 100 to 1000 more damage with the same amount and same type of explosive compound. I think that this is enough. No discussion for the reason why military, why it is so beneficial, so profitable for military use, to use implosions instead of explosions. From my point of view, no discussion. Average implosion, comparison of average implosion and explosion, from 100 to 1000 more damage with the same stuff. It's crazy. Jesus.
And it does. It looks crazy the way the whole thing hits, and also, I mean, it almost. I mean, I was
And
thinking.
give me a second. Just by the way, most, if you need to be expert in explosions in order to create a scalar, that means directional explosion.
So they
Implosion
came from above and they
yes.
hit down. Yeah.
Implosion is fully modificatable. You need to you can create any sort of modification of implosion, and you don't need to have any sort of deeper in-depth expertise in that field. That is why it is, that's the reason why it is that extremely uh, that extremely dangerous.
Well, some people would contend that it was coming up from the manhole because it was a manhole, but they can hit the manhole deliberately to a target and then create the implosion down underneath, right? And the question is what were they targeting underneath here?
They were made. They were making. They were making
more
scientific experiment, but because of let's say profile of experiment and fact that it is still ongoing investigation, and not just this stuff what happened, but it's a long-term mission. I don't want to go more in details because we don't want to jeopardize mission. Of course, we are not that dumb. We are not that stupid.
Well, given the fact that it happens in Wuhan, we know what it's related to.
Yeah, don't. We don't want to bring heat to the channel.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
We know what this is related to, and an interesting article.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, do we have any more topics?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Oh, not that one. That's for another time.
Yes, definitely.
And we
definitely no, not this.
I think this is this might be the last one right here. All right. Okay. So much people are fascinated with Bigfoot. It's you know, I just want to get your opinion on Bigfoot because it's kind of like a he looks humanoid, but very like a cross between a human and like a, I don't know, gorilla
isolated
or something.
Species. Let's say this is they are isolated species because they were not suitable for living in our context of existence. But I don't want to get too much more in depth because it's touchy topic and there are too many opinions about that. I think they are not bad, but they are very unpredictable. Their behavior is unpredictable and unstable.
Okay, so I knew some people that were communicating with Bigfoot or Sasquatch or whatever you want to call them, and they actually were being pulled into portals by them and so forth, and they didn't end up very well.
This is what I'm saying. And as I said, no, it is not good idea to get more in depth. So I think that this is.
Well, I was gonna just hold on a second. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Oh, what happened here?
I don't know.
Do a reset there.
I don't know.
All right, so I'm gonna shut off the volume and just to show where this, so people can see it.
Yeah, we can see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bigfoot, Sasquatch. Yeah, I don't know. There are too many names for them. Yeah, you are right. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it says somewhere in here that they show him walking or something. So I didn't look at exactly where the timestamp was. Maybe it's just sitting there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
So
think that
anyhow, yeah, that was it.
that was it for today. Okay, so once again, I want to thank you for another opportunity to be on our channel. I want to thank you to all of our listeners to have patience and to stay with us till the end of the show. And I'm looking forward to next time.
All right, thank you, Peter, and thanks for spending some time with us. I know that you've been very busy, and thank you to all of us, everyone that's been listening, and thank you for your support. We will keep you informed. Have a good day.
You have been listening to the Disclosures with Peter the Insider and Jessica Marrocco. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Visit www.acio-agency.org and www.readingsbyarael.com. Post your questions and comments below. We look forward to hearing from you. Feel free to support our work. All links can be found in the description. Thank you.